We begin this hour in the DR Congo, where the situation remains tense as President Joseph Kabila's mandate comes to a close Monday. Recent talks mediated by the Catholic Church failed to reach a compromise. Reports say that police and soldiers were stationed on main streets of Kinshasa on Sunday as they prepared to confront an expected eruption of protests on Monday. This, as the opposition said, that though it wouldn't call for protest, it might not stop them from happening. On the ground, though, it's the imminent possibility of the protests turning violent that is causing worry among most of the residents in Kinshasa and across the country.
It's been a tense couple of weeks in the DR Congo. The postponement of the elections have made things even worse, as many are still reeling from the effects of crackdowns by security forces almost 2 months back. At this church, all the congregation can hope for is a peaceful resolution to the current leadership stalemate.
We ask the grace of God be upon the mediators who are trying to achieve a mission, which seems to be a mission impossible. But may the grace of God be upon them to help all these political actors to go beyond. For the good of our people, let us pray.
The Congolese Catholic Church has been mediating political negotiations between Kabila's political alliance and the Congolese opposition over the election day and Kabila's mandate. On Saturday, the bishops in the talks broke off without an agreement, saying they'd resume on Wednesday. Political figures leaving the talks say they were concerned, with some appealing for calm.
The most pressing thing for us is to find a common message that can deliver peace of mind so that nothing bad happens on Monday and that no Congolese either in the provinces or in any of Kinshasa's communes be killed or die because of political differences. That is extremely important.
Back on the streets, things may seem normal, but many have been stocking up on basic foodstuff. The police have set up roadblocks and the UN have reinforced their troops. Residents are now hoping that things don't get more tense than they already are.
After the dialogue, we may be able to go to elections, but what we are worried about is that we don't want any more blood on the streets of Kinshasa. Enough is enough.
The DR Congo has not seen a peaceful transfer of power since independence in 1960, and the world fears protests, particularly in Kinshasa, could spark violence in the chronically unstable Central African giant. Leslie Marungu, CCTV.
Let's cross over now to CCTV's Clementine Logan, standing by for us in Kinshasa. Clem, what's the atmosphere there like?
Well, since midnight, there's been a partial shutdown of social network sites across various telecoms companies following an order by the government last week to do so, perhaps in anticipation of organised marches and protests like those we saw in September. We've been driving around the city this morning and the situation is very tense. Parts of the city are extremely quiet, businesses are closed, people are staying home, waiting anxiously to see how today unfolds. There's also a heavy security presence, as you heard there, and as we got closer to the University of Kinshasa, very heavy security presence of military police and special commando units deployed across the streets. They prevented us from getting any closer to the university, which is where we understand a group of students are being prevented from leaving again, perhaps in anticipation of planned protests and marches. Agitated crowds had gathered saying that Kabila's term was ending at midnight tonight and from tomorrow they want him out. When we tried to talk to a few of them, we were stopped immediately by military police and turned away along with other journalists as well. So the situation remains very precarious. The opposition, for its part, has said that it hasn't organised any mass protests, but fully expects the Congolese to mobilise in their own way and to be able to freely demonstrate what it says is the fact that, you know, people here no longer want the current government. So it's a very tense situation at the moment.
And Clem, talks are due to resume on Wednesday. How are things likely to develop in the next few days?
That's right. Negotiations ended on Saturday after failing to reach a conclusion. They're due to resume in a couple of days' time on Wednesday, once the Catholic bishops mediating those talks return from a trip to Rome. But at this point, it seems like too little too late. The opposition UDPS has already branded the talks a failure, accuses the government of being unwilling to budge from its position, which is to have President Joseph Kabila rule the country until elections in 2018. The opposition wants a transitional government to lead the country until elections next year. So right now, it's difficult to see how a political solution or compromise will be reached. Again, people expecting, mobilization, marches, protests. We spoke to a civil movement yesterday who told us they had planned to march peacefully across the city as well. So it's likely to be a very tense 48 hours in the run-up to the resumption of those talks on Wednesday. Back to you.
All right, Clementine Logan joining us live from Kinshasa. Thank you.